Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the finale to What If Goku's Kaio-Ken Was Permanent. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
The clash between Whis and Goku is insane. The pressure exuded is something they never would have expected from a mortal. Goku swivels around to swing a kick to Whis' face before stepping back. He spends a few seconds to walk around just analysing how he can win this fight going forward. Whis is stronger, faster and smarter. It doesn't leave him with many options but to go all out. That tells him that he won't be doing much staying in his Super Saiyan God form. Stepping back, he rids himself of his short-lived God form and replaces that with Ultra Instinct Omen. The gods can't help but watch this now. Ultra Instinct, used by a mortal. They just have so many questions as to how this happened. How did he gain this ability after just a few short years of training? The gods across the multiverse are shocked at what's happening here. Goku shoots forward, cracking the ground with the force that he outputs. He uses instant transmission at the very last second to slam his knee into Whis' back, launching him forward. He slides across the arena, then swings around to shoot his staff in his direction. Goku's Ultra Instinct allows him to gracefully flip right over it, leaving mere inches between him and the staff though. As soon as he lands back down again, he springs back off the floor to shoot a front kick at Whis' face. He does manage to block it, but must put a decent amount of effort into doing so. Goku throws two swift punches right after, but Whis manages to slip past both with his insane speed. The wind from each punch makes Whis' clothes flow wildly, but he is left unaffected. He then throws a kick of his own, landing straight on Goku's chest and throwing him off his feet. He's left to tumble and slide back from this hit, taken aback by its insane power. Even after so long training so hard, the gap between him and Whis is still there and strong. It will take a lot for him to close this gap and even take the win. The fight continues on and Goku continues using his strong will and vigour to apply immense pressure onto Whis. However, he is still the stronger, faster and more able warrior. This pressure isn't something new to him. He's fought countless battles more intense than this one. He never loses his head in situations like these. He can continue with utmost focus and intelligence, keeping Goku at bay with the lowest effort needed. Goku shouts, firing off toward Whis with a ki blast in each hand. Thrusting them both forward, Whis just elegantly spins around, using his staff to hit at his legs and knock him right off balance. Before he can fall fully, Whis taps him on his sternum with the end of his staff to shoot him across the whole arena. Goku still launches his two ki blasts, but the force behind that hit knocked him right off course. They go flying into the sky, where they're left to fall and slam back into the arena floor, far from Whis. Even if Whis is having the clear upper hand, it's not like Goku isn't making him work. He's giving it his all and everyone watching can see and appreciate that. Whis soon goes on the offensive and it's clear that Goku doesn't really have much to handle this. Whis punches him straight in the face before kicking him in the side of his head. This sends him rolling and rolling away from Whis at high speed. Just as he brings himself to a stop, Whis can tap his staff down into his gut that forces cracks to come out from beneath him. He grunts in pain, thrusting himself back to his feet to try and give himself more control. However, the beatdown carries on and there's nothing that he can do about it. He is a mortal anyway. It wasn't like he'd create a miracle out of nowhere, the Grand Prix says to Zeno as they watch. Goku is now on one knee in his base form once again. He is fatigued and heavily worn out. Maybe he just couldn't take that win in the end. However, he has a strong will to carry on and to prove to those watching how strong he can become. Therefore, he stands and applies Kaio-Ken times 100 onto his base form. This immediate boost is nothing special. The people watching don't really understand why he's now choosing to revert to using just ordinary ki instead of the much stronger God ki. Their minds shift though once he enters MUI after doing this. The amount of power he has is much higher than the power that he just had. What's just happened? Whis looks almost shocked upon seeing this. Did he really just do that here? He was hoping that Goku wouldn't reveal that power here because that could put him in serious danger. However, the fact that nobody knows what it is just yet could keep him safe. Anyhow, Goku rushes toward him with much greater speed than before. Whis only just dodges his first punch aimed at him, then gets caught with an overhead kick from Goku as he's turned with his back to the floor. This throws him ahead, then Goku appears behind him to land a double axe handle straight to his back. Whis slams straight back into the arena and is left to slide away from the hit. He can use his staff to steady himself, but Goku is right there again to kick him in his side, sliding him across the arena even further. The gods now are at a loss for words. This mortal is actually hitting around Whis, the Whis. Goku flies ahead all the same with his neutral face and continues the fight. He manages to land more attacks than Whis does. This form has given him much greater speed while providing him with much better defense as well. Finally, Goku leaps back and begins charging his ki for the ultimate attack. His ki condenses between his palms to form a blue ball of ki. The ki ball soon grows to fill the gap between his hands and starts outputting massive waves of air and energy. The intense pressure from Goku is enough to make the guards more concerned. Their position changes, now protecting the Omni King from direct fire of this blast. From the platform that the Grand Priest is stood on, he forms a hemispherical shield over the two as they battle to shield the spectators from the force of his attack. Goku roars with vehemence and fires off the blast straight toward Whis. The blast takes up much of the arena, even leading him to place a knee onto it so that he doesn't get thrown back himself. Whis takes the blast head on, and the light given off by this blast would be blinding to any ordinary mortal that would view it. After the blast dims and fades away, Whis is revealed with scorched clothing and a few bruises on his skin along with that. However, the injuries are minor and he's mostly doing okay. He made sure to hold back during that fight to ensure that Goku didn't use that form to grow his power again. Luckily, he can use the excuse that it's just how he uses his full power or stops himself from holding back or something. Since Goku only used the Kaio-Ken to power himself up once, he can make that excuse. Now the gods commend Goku for giving them such a good show to watch and for growing so much that he has reached this level. Goku is such a good character that they aren't even concerned about what he will do with that power. They know that he's a great person and love him even more for that. Goku is taken back to his own universe with Whis, where the latter tells him to never use that Kaio-Ken form in front of other gods. Goku is confused as to why. It seemed like they liked the fight more when he did so. However, Whis furthers by saying that it's only for now. If he were to use it again, grow even stronger, they'd start to ask questions and feel threatened. Even if he seems like a nice person on the outside, absolutely nobody with power like that is not a danger. Following this, the next arc is the Broly arc. Now Frieza isn't alive to go and locate Broly himself, however it's instead Sorbet who finds him. He's looking for a fighter to battle for him, to be the new face of the Frieza Empire. He wishes to bring back the glory that Frieza once had under him to realise that massive empire once again. With such a powerful fighter, he can use him to achieve so much. He begins to tell him about the Saiyans and uses manipulation tactics to try and bring Broly and Paragus onto his side. Now Sorbet might be physically weak, but he ran an entire empire when Frieza was gone. He can use his other traits to gain power and influence. This is exactly what he does here. Broly and Paragus arrive on Earth, where Broly is set to fight the Saiyans. Paragus' thoughts about Vegeta are only intensified through Sorbet's manipulation. He claims that King Vegeta's son, Prince Vegeta IV, is as malevolent and self-absorbed as his father. Broly lands in an icy terrain where the Saiyans soon congregate. The power they can feel from within the ship is enough to send everybody there. Goku and Vegeta stand in their stylish coats waiting to see what awaits them. Sorbet reveals himself, but the Saiyan Broly that comes out after him is the person they're more interested in. Now Vegeta begins to fight off as in canon and Broly rushes toward him with a shout, punching him right on his arm. He has no clue as to why he's fighting him with such anger. Vegeta's mind is calmer than ever and this has made him a much better, more skilled fighter. Broly swings down his arms to try and attack him, but Vegeta swivels straight over his incoming attack, leaping up into flight. He creates a bunch of distance between him and Broly before launching down a ki blast. This hits him straight on, melting and evaporating the ice below him to create a massive cloud of water vapour that continues to circle him. Broly coughs from the attack and grunts from the pain, but this only makes him angrier and also works to make him stronger. Leaping straight up, he goes in to attack Vegeta again and is much faster than he just was. However, Vegeta has learned to use Ultra Instinct in his base form. He flows like the water, just like how Whis fights. Even if it is an imperfect form of Ultra Instinct, it's effective here. Repeatedly rolling in the air, this allows him to descend as Broly rises and allows him to just miss a punch aimed at his face before he dives down. Broly flies right down and after him though. The guy seems to have no control, just constantly rushing after him as he fights. However, one thing that Vegeta is noticing is that he's getting stronger. He can see that he's flying faster and faster as time passes and he's starting to feel his attacks a little more by the minute. Soon Vegeta acts too carelessly and receives a right straight onto his jaw. The attack knocks him back a great deal and also leaves him slightly dazed. Before he can think of doing anything else, he receives a kick to his stomach that forces him back. Since he is still in his base form, he can't utilize the full power of Ultra Instinct. His body tried to evade those attacks, but they were just too quick. He was able to move slightly but just couldn't move far and fast enough to fully dodge them. Vegeta lands back on the ground and then leaps back once he sees Broly dive down at full force to try and hit him. He hits the ice with so much force that Vegeta can feel the trembling in his feet. However, as Broly goes in to try and attack him again, he enters Super Saiyan as his punch soars past his face. This gives him a greater portion of Ultra Instinct while making him 50 times stronger on the spot. He grabs Broly's face in the same motion and pulls him off his feet to hurl him into the floor. The ground quakes from this, and Vegeta then pounces with some heavy ground and pound punching. Broly can do very little to deal with this, and since he's fighting with little technique, Vegeta is taking advantage of this. He can see he's a raw fighter, which makes it easier for him to find his weaknesses and capitalize on them. After about 20 seconds, he leaps up and off Broly to enter flight. The latter looks quite beat up from the assault from Vegeta, turning around slowly before bouncing back up to his feet. Shouting at the top of his lungs, his eyes start to turn to gold as he lets his hidden power loose. The Ikari state, the Uzaru form in one's base. He flies right up to Vegeta, throwing a wild swing at him with a beast-like shout to accompany it. Now this makes Vegeta more concerned. Broly was fighting like an angry human before, but now he's fighting like a true wild animal. He growls after missing this hit, then opens his mouth to launch a blast from his mouth straight at him. Swat the blast away, but is still a little intrigued. Just what power is he resorting to here? He's never seen anything like it before. It doesn't feel that strong, but it's still different to anything he's ever felt in the past. The fight carries on, and Broly still manages to bridge that gap between him and Vegeta. This forces him further up and into Super Saiyan God. Now, the beatdown is even worse than it was in canon. Broly can do nothing to match Vegeta's God Ki. This starts leaving Sorbet impatient. He wanted to see Broly actually do something here, but if Broly doesn't have Super Saiyan, he knows that he'll make no progress. He heard this form from Frieza when he saw future Trunks use it. Goku never had to use Super Saiyan to defeat him on Namek, so he instead saw the form for the first time through future Trunks using it instead of Goku. He also heard from Frieza that for Super Saiyans to attain that form, they need to go through a certain need or struggle. Maybe what he's about to do will motivate him. Turning around to hold his laser gun to Paragus back, he fires and kills him right there on his ship. He's left to lifelessly fall, and when Broly sees this, he lets go completely. Entering his Super Saiyan form, he proves to be a much greater challenge for Vegeta. Soon his Super Saiyan God form is no good fighting him, forcing him up into Super Saiyan Blue. It isn't long before Broly bridges that gap as well, and as he does so, he then ascends further and unlocks his full power Super Saiyan form. The terrain is no longer a cool Arctic plain, but a rough, hot area with lava spraying around everywhere. As Broly shoots off toward him, Vegeta starts getting concerned. He's still in Super Saiyan Blue, and once again his Ultra Instinct just isn't cutting it. Just as Broly goes in to attack him, Goku appears in front of him and stops his punch with a finger. Sorry Vegeta, but he's getting out of control. He might destroy the planet if we let him carry on like this, Goku says, before stopping another punch headed his way. Lightly pushing with his index finger, he cracks one of Broly's knuckles and launches him back more than 100 meters. This leaves Vegeta beyond shocked. Kakarot, just what type of person has he become? He truly has ascended past the confines of a mortal. He's indistinguishable from a god. They possess that same power, authority, mentality. Fine, Vegeta says blankly, returning to his base form. Broly flies straight back toward him and roars in a blank and totally wild manner. Swinging his fist toward him, he tries to take him out, but Goku evades his hit and lands a quick tap to his neck to knock him out completely. He's left to crash to the ground, and that pretty much ends things. Goku scares Sorbet off the planet and keeps Broly with him to make sure that his power doesn't grow out of control. Instead of training under Whis, Broly is almost trained solely by Goku. He has that power to keep him contained now and feels that he can connect to him better being a Saiyan and everything. Goku makes him try and tap into that power while keeping him contained. It ends up working eventually, where he can use his Super Saiyan form and maintain control. Once Broly weathers the storm that is his own power, he'll become an amazing warrior, possibly even surpassing Goku. They must remember that Broly made Vegeta use Super Saiyan Blue without even a sliver of God Ki. The potential for him is truly limitless. What follows is the Moro Arc. Meris goes to retrieve the sealed ball and snatches it from its current point in the wasteland. Bulma made sure to place certain devices in place in case something was to happen in the environment. This creates an immediate alarm and the Saiyans teleport back to Earth to see what's happening. All they see is the ball trapped in a net being carried away by some weird spaceship. Goku goes off after it, flying next to the ship. As he follows after it though, Ki Blast gets shot straight at him. Goku really wonders where those Ki Blasts are coming from, and in the very next moment this ship shoots off into space. Goku can't go off into the harsh vacuum of space on his own, and so he waits for them to arrive on a nearby planet so that he can teleport to them to see what's going on. At least he's hoping they'll go to a planet. He has no clue what they're actually doing. Meris eventually arrives on a nearby planet that they have control of, where they can safely try and activate Majin Buu. They soon figure out how to do so, and Meris powers up slightly, providing more than enough energy to activate him. His shell goes breaking apart, and the Majin Buu that they need so much is out and free. He beats his chest wildly, and Meris can see that they're going to need to do some work here to make him work with them. Instead of trying to say anything, they can see that he really can't be talked to. Neutralizing him, they knock him out, then bring him with them so that they can use him to defeat the escaped Moro. Goku appears in their ship and Meris prepares to blast him. "Why did you guys take Boo?" Goku asks, looking at Meris. "It's all for good reasons. Somebody that we imprisoned previously has escaped. The only person who has enough power to take him down was absorbed by Boo. We believe his power should still be in there so that we can defeat him," Meris explains. "Ah, okay, I think I could be of some help. I am pretty strong," Goku says, clenching his fist. "I'm aware actually. The name's Goku, isn't it?" Meris says. Meris has been hearing a lot about him. Even if he acts as a mortal, he still has access to things like God Chi. He watched the fight between him and Whis live and so knows that he couldn't beat this Saiyan. He's just a trainee angel, so he's much weaker than Whis. I'm pretty sure he would be stronger than Beerus though, but I'm not entirely sure. We have no idea how strong he exactly is. However, he can see that he is the kind calm type, so doesn't expect the fight to happen at any point here. Therefore, he believes that he could actually work with him. "You can come along if you wish," Meris states. Goku then says he wants to bring a few people along with him and Meris obliges. These are Vegeta and Nappa. They all head to Namek and then Nappa and Vegeta want to take the fight themselves. Goku doesn't really get a chance to fight main foes anymore since he's just so strong. They know that he can just show up out of nowhere and defeat pretty much anyone. That takes away the fun they get from training if they can't even fight other strong people besides just themselves. Vegeta and Nappa stand side by side with Nappa cracking his knuckles. "Come on Vegeta, let's get this party started," he says before crouching down slightly. Both fighters fire off toward Moro, who can't do much to stop them. Nappa thrusts in a punch straight to his head and lands the punch head on. After, Vegeta whizzes forward above him and slowly rolls in the air before throwing down his foot for a kick. Moro slams into the rocky ground beneath, and Vegeta shoots down like an arrow to drive both of his knees into his chest. Leaping into the air and flying off, Nappa clenches his right hand. It seems like nothing happens at first, but Nappa turns the rocks around Moro into pure energy. This releases a massive explosion that almost looks like lava in the ground has burst out from the Earth's mantle. It's a tall, bright explosion that shoots Moro up and into the air. He's left to flail around wildly as he struggles to get control over his movements. He just continues flipping and flying up insanely fast, unable to bring himself to a halt. Vegeta tracks the flipping magician with his hand and launches his Big Bang attack straight at him. Just as Moro begins to slow, he gets hit with this blast right on and gets further thrown up into the air. It's clear that Nappa and Vegeta have the advantage here. Moro soon stops, panting and bloodied in the air. These fighters are really starting to annoy him. It's even more infuriating to find out that his body just can't fight as well as it used to. They're strong, and so Moro is going to use their powers against them. Landing back in front of them, he lifts his hands like a king would and sucks away their energy in the process. Energy from the planet also floods into his body, leaving the two Saiyans feeling quite weak. As Moro continues pulling energy from around him, you can see that he can find quite a lot of power coming from Goku. It's like he's this bottomless well of power that he can pull from. Moro's muscles start to puff up slightly from all this energy, and he's starting to look slightly younger as well. Shouting, his silver aura takes form, and he then hurls beams of lava at both warriors. They fire off toward the two Saiyans, who can both leap up to evade them. Vegeta finds it easier with his Ultra Instinct, but Nappa is still fast enough to jump up and dodge. This releases a wave of lava and flames onto the ground beneath him that just continue to get more and more intense. The flames just intensify, releasing this extreme heat from behind them. It isn't much of a bother for them though. He then grabs Nappa by the hand, sucking from his power directly before headbutting him. Nappa already looked fatigued before that hit and ends up stumbling to the ground upon taking it to his face. It wasn't easy to tank it, and he can already feel himself getting more dizzy as time passes. Vegeta sees this happen and is angered. Fueled by the defeat of his comrade, he charges forward and powers up into Super Saiyan, even though he intended to use Super Saiyan God. He doesn't notice, but Goku does. He wonders why he's using such a low tier form in these circumstances, but doesn't question it that much. Vegeta throws a punch to Moro's gut and somewhat hurts him with the attack. He continues with his violent and energetic attack that Moro has to try hard to handle and take. Vegeta lands a sequence of punches that land cleanly on the opponent's face, all delivering significant amounts of damage. Before Moro can even think of reacting, Vegeta lands a front kick to his chest to throw him back. Both fighters come to a stop, and as that assault continued, Vegeta didn't even notice that his body reverted out of Super Saiyan. Moro just has a mischievous smile on his face, and Vegeta looks down to see that he really is in his base form now. How? He didn't want that to happen, so why did it happen? He tries to power back up into what he thought was Super Saiyan God, only to see that he attained Super Saiyan for a second before powering out of it. Once he powers down, one notable thing here is that he is greatly fatigued. It's like he's been fighting for several hours straight. As each second passes by, he can feel his body growing heavier and weaker. Just what is this magician up to? Vegeta falls to a knee as his breathing rate becomes faster and more unsteady. What did you do? Vegeta asks, authoritatively, trying to catch his breath back. It's called Magic Saiyan, a power you cannot beat or overcome, Moro says. Finally, he hits them both in the face to knock them out simultaneously. They slide across the floor, and Moro has soundly defeated them. He lifts his hands, and with that starts lifting rocks adjacent to him using telekinesis. As they all float in the air, he thrusts his arms down, and all of the rocks go flying down toward the fallen duo. Just before any rock hits them though, Goku raises one hand and creates a hemispherical energy shield to cover them. It's small but effective, and the rocks go crashing down onto it and cause no damage to the shield whatsoever. This does a good job of protecting his Saiyan friends from any further damage, and Moro can do nothing more to hurt them. Moro looks up and can see Goku holding out his hand. He did this. In the very next moment, Goku appears in front of him to elbow him in the chest, breaking his ribs. Moro coughs out blood while also falling to his knees. He thought that he'd have the clear advantage after stealing that much energy. He hasn't felt this vigorous and strong in centuries. He even stole so much energy from this man, he thought he was going to burst. I won't let you continue. I can see why you were imprisoned. You're an evil, evil person, Goku says, before waiting for him to make a move. Moro tries to hit him with a beam of lava from behind him, only to see that Goku flips right over it, making him hit himself instead. He throws himself straight off his feet and leaves himself on his bottom, shaking his head to try and take his mind off the pain from that hit. It also leaves him feeling quite humiliated for him to just have hit himself. Goku just looks down at him with eyes of pity. In the very next moment, Goku traps the magician using handcuffs made of ki. After this, it's pretty much over. Taking him in, the magician is left without any more options. Meris trapped him in that weird substance, and this is the end for him. He takes him in and Meris nods toward him for his efforts. Thank you so much, Goku. We didn't even need to use Majin Buu, Meris says with utmost praise. Goku nods before smiling back at him. It's my pleasure, Goku says, before placing his hand toward his fallen friend. Shooting off small slivers of his ki to them both, he can't heal them, but what you can do is replenish their stamina reserves. They awake shortly after and they teleport back to Earth, where they can just use senzu beans to heal and return to their tip-top shape. Following this, Granola is next up to provide a challenge to the Z Fighters. Frieza is dead and has remained dead. However, Sorbet has managed to establish a somewhat powerful empire with the strongest fighters that he could find. This keeps the Heaters subjecting Granola to their terms and orders. He wishes to become the strongest in the universe, but Tarambo states that wish cannot be made as the strongest person in the universe is simply too strong. The life force that he can give won't be enough to realize that wish. He then wishes to become as strong as he possibly can, which places him at the same level that he was at in the canon timeline. Now Vegeta and Nappa are well beyond this point, but it's enough power Granola believes to get the job done, and that is to destroy the Frieza Empire that was used to destroy his race. The Heaters see that Granola will be an issue, and so they get the Saiyans to try and fight him, thinking that he's an evil person. Now they arrive in the area that they fought him in canon, looking around to try and find him. The ki blast fires up toward the crew and hits Goku straight in the back of his neck. Even though this blast hits a pressure point, it does nothing to him. He turns to try and locate its origin, seeing another blast head his way. He just slices it in two before kicking away one aimed at Nappa. Where's that coming from? Nappa asks, hastily looking around to try and find the source as well. Down there, I think. I can't see the guy, but it's coming from there, Goku says, before swiping another blast away. Granola is watching from below and can't believe his eyes. He was hoping that he wouldn't encounter anyone stronger than himself, but he looks up and sees that likely won't be the case. The Saiyan in flight has swiped away some of his fastest, most powerful attacks like they're nothing. This might be harder than he thought it would be. Without fear though, he leaps up and flies straight toward the trio to try and engage in battle. Let me take care of this guy, Nappa says, holding his hand out in front of the fighters behind him. Nappa then dives down, entering Super Saiyan in his flight to try and attack Granola. He lands a kick to his face and hurls him back before punching him in the face in quick succession. After training with Goku for so long and gaining intense Zenkais from their battles, Vegeta and Nappa are in a totally different league. Granola holds his bleeding face with surprise before taking a punch straight to his gut that knocks the wind out of him. Who is this guy anyway? I thought he was going to be a challenge, Nappa says, bummed out. Vegeta grunts with anger from seeing how weak this guy is. He wanted to get a turn in facing him, but now he is totally disinterested. He's not going to go out his way to try and fight someone of that level. Granola begins coughing and finds that blood comes out as he does so. 2 people stronger than him. How is this possible? How did those Heaters find just the right people to beat him? Out of everyone in the universe, it must be the Saiyans that are stronger than him. Really? He just can't believe it. Before he can throw another attack, he receives a powerful knee to his face that throws him back. Granola continues to get manhandled by the bruiser, just unable to find an opening or even time to just rest and recuperate. Nappa holds him by his neck and then sees him vanish into nothing at all. The real Granola makes himself known, rushing forward to shoot an energy blast straight into a pressure point on Nappa's torso. This makes him grunt in pain from the shot and shakes up his entire body. The pain even distributes throughout his torso and toward his spine. He really wonders how he made that attack hurt him so badly. What this does after a while though is just infuriate him. He thought this guy would be an easy hit, an easy win. Powering up into Super Saiyan God, Granola goes in to hit him only to see him not move at all. Try again, he comments coldly, before landing a slap so powerful to his ear that Granola almost loses consciousness. As Nappa goes in to attack him again, Goku stops him. He grabs his hand and this confuses Nappa. "What are you doing?" he asks him. "Look, he doesn't seem like a villain. He hasn't said anything about any wrongdoing," Goku whispers to him. "Why are you fighting us?" Goku then asks, addressing Granola. "I don't need to answer you," Granola asks, before firing off toward him. As Granola tries to attack him, Goku flies toward him and flicks his head with a single finger. This leaves him feeling dizzy and breaks through his skin. "I need answers so that we can know if we need to fight you or not. You don't seem evil. I feel like we were lied to," Goku says. Granola grunts and wants to just fight him again, but he waits a few seconds and thinks. All three of these guys are likely stronger than him, and so it wouldn't be smart for him to act up. Therefore, he complies even if these are Saiyans that he doesn't want to answer to. "I want to destroy the Frieza Empire for what you people did to mine. You Saiyans destroyed my race and took away everyone I ever loved." "I'm sorry about that, Granola, I truly am," Goku says. "We're not like those Saiyans from before. We've changed. We were told that you were a threat to us, but I knew that wasn't true. I promise you we're not like that. Over our lifetime, we've protected billions of people. I'm sure of it," Goku says, looking back to the two Saiyans behind him. "You're bluffing. I know how rotten your minds are," Granola shouts. "That's not true. I only came here to fight you because I thought that's what I had to do. I thought that was the right thing, but now I know that isn't, and so I won't," Goku furthers. Minato soon shows up, and after just seeing Goku's face, the memories of Bardock flood back into his mind. He's that Saiyan's son. He tells Granola all about how a Saiyan was the reason he's alive today, and he struggles to even wrap his head around that. He's always seen them as the enemy, but here he can see that isn't the case. Once Goku hears about these heaters, he deals with them for Granola. They're on the same side now, and Gas can't even get his wish of trying to become the strongest in the universe. This only makes Goku's job easier of defeating them. Granola is brought to calmness for now, and this brings complete peace to Universe 7. So that will conclude what if Goku's Kaio-Ken was permanent. Please tell me something you liked about this video, or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.